In this sponsored tutorial, we're going to check out the WP Page Builder Framework theme. It's fast, it's minimalist, it's stable, it's awesome, it's built with page builders in mind. My name is Bjorn Allpass in WP Learning Lab. If you like this kind of video, make sure you click subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. And we're getting started right now. The super fast theme we're looking at today is called WP Page Builder Framework. You can find it at this website right here. It has a free version and it has pro add-ons. So the free version does a whole lot of stuff and pro add-ons do more. But the reason we're looking at this theme is because it's very lightweight, it's minimalist, it's fast, it's built with page builders in mind. When you install it, it's completely bare bones. And this is also the theme I'm currently using on WPLearningLab.com, and I've used it for almost half a year now, and it's been great so far. It doesn't force you into any kind of design direction at all, but it gives you all the flexibility and all the tools you need to create any kind of website that you want. It integrates deeply with Elementor and Beaver Builder. It integrates with WooCommerce and Easy Digital Downloads as well as others. So it has a lot of options for you, and pretty much any website type is possible with this theme. It can be easily configured to be GDPR compliant. For example, you can download Google Fonts right into the website instead of accessing the Google Fonts server, which is something you need to have better GDPR compliance. And it also integrates with the Gutenberg editor. So if you make changes in the Gutenberg editor, they appear in the customizer in the theme. And if you make changes in the customizer, they appear in the Gutenberg editor and back and forth. So they sync, so you're never undoing something you did in a different spot in the customizer versus the Gutenberg editor. Now let's install this theme on a fresh WordPress install to see how fast it really is. I've created this local site right here, completely new 2019 theme installed, and we're gonna add a new theme. Let's go to themes, go to add new, and look up Page Builder Framework. And here's what we want right up here. Let's click on install and then activate. So now we have our new theme installed here. We're not going to use a child theme in this case, but if you do use this theme on a production environment, it is recommended that you do use a child theme, just because when the parent theme is updated, it might overwrite any changes you've made in the theme unless you're using a child theme. So child theme is recommended. And there's this handy dandy page right here. I've linked to it in the description down below. You can create your child theme right here, right on the Page Builder Framework website. You just fill out the short form, the theme name, theme description, author. This is you, the author in this case. Author URI is a link to your website. Give it a folder name. Add a screenshot if you want to. Click on download. And then you have a child theme that you can upload by just going to your themes, add new, upload theme. You can upload that right here. Then you have a child theme in place. For more on child themes, check the playlist in the description down below. And now that we have this installed, let's test the speed. To do that, we're going to use Pingdom. Let's head over to tools.pingdom.com. Not Pingdom, Pingdom. Let's just paste in the URL and hit start test. So our results are down below here. We have a pretty good score right out of the box. And what's most impressive is the page size, which is 68 kilobytes, and the load time, the complete load time for the site right now is 158 milliseconds. Granted, there's not much there, but you test any other theme, it's not going to be loading this fast out of the box. So that's pretty impressive. And also depends on where you're testing from. If you have your server or your hosting account in North America, you want to make sure you're testing that speed using these tools using a North American test location. If you're in Japan, you want to use a Japanese test location. If you're in Germany, use a German one. You get the idea. You want to make sure you use the testing location closest to you to get a better idea of how fast the site actually is on its server in its own country. Now let's take a look at what this theme can actually do. First, I'm going to show you some of the stuff I have already prepared on the website. If we go back into the website and we go to posts, I have 4 posts created. They're really basic. Every single one of these are just a sample post with a number, lorem ipsum text, and a featured image on the right-hand side. That's all these posts are. Under pages, I have an Elementor page created. I just use one of the Elementor templates for that. I have, under plugins, Elementor Free and Elementor Pro installed. And I also have a menu created, just a really basic menu. Home, About, under About sub-item called Profile, Services, and Contact, and it's assigned as the main menu for the website. Now most of the editing and customizing you're going to do for this theme happens in the customizer under Appearance and then Customize. So we're going to go there next. So here in the customizer, you can customize pretty much every aspect of this theme, and we're going to do a lot of it right now. If we go to General and then Layout, we can easily change the width of the page. Let's say 1800. And that makes it much wider. The default is 1200. I'm going to put it back to default. You can have it be boxed, which means it stays in a certain boxed area. You see the header at the top here is changed from being full width to being boxed. And you can add padding and margin as needed to make it the right size, the appropriate size that you need. We can add a scroll to top feature. Now you don't see it on the page right now, but it's going to appear on the bottom right because we have position on the right selected. When we scroll down, it's going to appear. And there it is. It fades in. If you click that, it goes back up to the top. So by default, you have to scroll 400 pixels before that shows up. You can change that to 0, and it'll always be there. Sorry, 50. So you can't be 0, but it can show up a lot sooner if you want it to. I'm going to put that back to 400-ish. That's 400-ish. You can change the background color of the icon. It's gray when you hover. It gets a little darker. You can change those colors here. You can give it a border radius. You can make it totally round if you want to. Now it's round. So you can customize that quite a bit. You can change the background very easily. You can use an image for the background, or you can set a color. I'm just going to set a color. It's going to use a very light gray. Looking at my keyboard here. And that's not a light gray by any means. There we go. That's a really light gray. That's the same gray as the header. We can head into the sidebar. In the sidebar, you can customize how the sidebar looks. You can make it right, left, or no sidebar. You can change the gap. That's the gap between the content and the sidebar. If I make this X large, you'll see it move over quite a bit. I'm going to put it back to medium. You can change the width of the sidebar. Right now it's a third of the page. You can make that more or less. You can change the padding in the sidebar for different devices. I'm going to set the background color to white to make it stand out a little bit on the page. Have a nice little sidebar there. Let's go back. Breadcrumbs. These are important for SEO. If you turn these on this page, nothing will happen because you're on the home page. Breadcrumbs show a progression of pages. So if I click into any one of these blog posts, it shows home, then the progression into uncategorized, and then the post name. That's important for SEO because if you have your categories and post topics created properly, Google can establish themes for your site and rank you better. Because the better Google understands the topics and the themes of your site, the better and more easily you can rank for your keywords. So breadcrumbs are very important. Click on here to go back to home. I'm going to turn those off. And we also have the ability to change the accent color. You'll see a lot of blues in here. We can change these to greens and then hover. Let's make it a lighter green. There. Pretty simple change. And that's the accent color throughout the entire site. Those are global changes. Theme buttons. You can change the background color, hover color, font color, border radius, border width. Anything you want to change on buttons really. 404 page. There is one that's created by the theme. This allows you to change the text on it. You can choose to show or not show a search form. It's usually a good idea to have a search form on a 404 page. So if we head out into blog, now let's go to blog archive layout. Now this is for any archive on the site. For example, what we're looking at here is the home page, which is a list of all our blog posts. That is considered a blog archive. The listing of posts on category pages, tag pages, search results pages, those are all archives. And you can easily drag and drop these options. So they're named quite well: title, metadata, featured image. You can easily move the featured image up. Now it's on the top, title, metadata, and description down below, and read more button, and categories. You can hide any one of these. Hide the title, for example. But that'd be silly to hide the title, so let's unhide that. You can change the layout of the individual posts. Have the image beside the post information. Makes the image a lot smaller. I prefer the bigger, beautiful images. You can change the style from plain to boxed. The box style. You can add a little padding in here for different devices. This is adding padding of 20 pixels on all sides for desktop. You can change the space between just by dragging and dropping. You can see the space increase as we do that. You can change the background color. Let's change it to white. So now we can see the box. That's what the box is. When you choose box, it has each individual post information in its own box. And now that we can see the box, we can see there's a gap on the side of the image, And if we choose to stretch the featured image, it stretches it right to the sides and right to the top. Now I think we have a pretty good looking blog post page. There are some more options down here. You can choose how to align the content. Centered is rarely a good option for this. You probably want to use left or right. You can change the background color like we did, change the accent color, hover colors, title font size, and then just the normal text font size. And I'm going to go ahead and change the accent color back to blue from this green, because the green is kind of driving me bonkers. Let's go back into general, accent color, choose default for accent color, default for hover. There we go. It's much softer. Under typography, you're able to change the typography across the entire site globally by changing these. The text is all the text on the page. Click on this option, you can choose the font family, the variant, the color. And you can change that for the menus, all the headings, and the site title and tagline. That's pretty much all the text on the website. And clicking at any one of these, and you can see premium features available. If you have the Pro add-on, there's a lot more options for this typography. And by default, when we see things like the font family, all these fonts, these Google fonts, by default, they're downloaded by the theme onto your server. This helps with GDPR compliance because you're not accessing a third-party server to get these fonts. They're hosted on your server. So that's good, like I said, for GDPR. Let's head back to the top menu and let's go into the header. So if we add a logo to the website, like you want to do for most websites, click on Select Logo. I have my logo right in here. Click on Select, click on Skip Cropping, and it appears where the site title was. We can change the width of this logo based on device. And by default, we're on desktop. We can change the width of the logo to any number that you feel is appropriate. Just drag and drop. It'll update in a second, and you can see the new size. I think that looks pretty good. In fact, the original looked pretty good. I'm just going to go back to the original by clicking on this little arrow. For tablet, that looks quite large. You want to shrink that down. Let's make it this big, this big, this big. Perfect. For mobile, same idea. It's a little big. Let's shrink it down. That's pretty good. Right there. Here you can also change the site title, the tagline, and have a custom URL for your logo if it's not hosted on your site. You can have alt text for your logo and a title tag, which you should. All images should at least have an alt tag. And then you can also define the container width for the logo. If we go back to desktop, and the container width here will show us that nice blue line, which is the container that contains the logo. If you have a really wide logo, it makes sense to adjust the container width as appropriate. You can change that for desktop and for mobile independently. So if we go to tablet and change that for mobile, we can see the width was quite large. It was way over here or over here. So we can change that and bring it down to a width that's more appropriate. And you might think, why is this any different than changing the width? It's different because changing the width of the logo doesn't change the width of the container, which means there's less space for other stuff. By adjusting it here, you are shrinking the container, which means there's more space for other things like the menu. And this is also handy on desktop because if someone has a lot of menu items, those can be broken onto 2 lines. And shrinking that container for the logo can help the menu stay on 1 line, even though there's a lot of menu options. You can also have a site icon up here, which is the icon that appears instead of this globe. We see a nice one here for the page builder for your website and the ping dom one. You can add that image right in here. Now if we go to our navigation, let's switch back to desktop. Now if we go to navigation, we have a bunch of options for our navigation. I'm going to change the background color to white just to make it stand out a little bit so we can see exactly what we're talking about. The navigation area that we're affecting is everything up here in the white background. So what we can do is we can change the menu layout just by selecting these options. Just switch sides. And now it's centered. That logo is quite large in the centered option. We have stacked. Logo is also quite large. So we'd have to adjust that using our logo width settings that we had earlier. We can change it back to right, and now we have it back to somewhat normal. We can add a search icon, and that adds a search option. If you click on that, have a little search bar so you can search the site. And I think these menu options is where the Page Builder framework really shines because it's super simple. Point and click. You saw switching the menu designs really easily. It's nice. It's really nice. Change the font size, which is the font size in the menu. All these options impact the menu. Background color, font color, hover color, easily changed. Menu height. Sometimes you want to have a higher or a taller menu. Sometimes not so tall. Menu item spacing is the gap between the menu items. Very easily changed to fit your needs. Let's go to the submenu. We have a little flyout here under About, Profile menu. This is all the options that affect that flyout. So if we change the color, we can look, or we can see specifically what we're affecting. Let's just change that to yellow. Nothing on the main menus changed, but the flyout is now yellow as far as the background goes. And so all these options are for the flyout menu. You can change the background color when you hover, the font color when you hover, the font size, have a menu separator, adjust the padding, adjust the width, set the alignment, and more features with the Pro add-ons. Under mobile navigation, we have some important stuff because mobile is quite important. I'm going to switch the view back to mobile by going to Logo, Mobile, and we have our hamburger icon right here. That's our mobile menu. And we can change it to default, which is like this. It says menu. You don't see that very often. And we can have hamburger. You see that much more often. But we need to add a menu to the mobile. So the mobile menu is set independently of the main nav, but you can have them the same. So the main nav is currently the main menu. Under View All Menu Locations for mobile, I'm going to choose main nav as well. And now we have the same menu under mobile as we do for the main nav. And if we click on the hamburger icon, we see all the same options we had just a moment ago for the main menu. It's quite nice to be able to change the navigation for the mobile independently, because if you have a super huge menu system on your main nav, which some websites do, it doesn't make sense to have all those options on mobile because it's so hard to navigate for your visitors. You want to make sure the mobile version represents your desktop version, but having 300 different pages linked to your nav and mobile doesn't make a lot of sense. So it's nice to be able to create that independently. We have a lot of options for customizing the mobile menu as well. We can change the hamburger icon style from default to filled to make it stand out a lot more. You can change the border radius. You can make that a circle if you wanted. I prefer the square. Change the color here. Add a search icon. Visitors can tap that, search your site. Super simple. You can change the height and the background color, icon size, and icon color of the search icon. Adjust the padding. This is for when your menu's open. So if it's like this, we adjust the padding to whatever we need it to be. Let's change this to 50 so you can see what we're talking about. So we have 50 at the top of every menu item. That might be a little much. Put that back to 10. So here you can easily adjust the padding as needed. Menu item background color is white. The hover color is also white as you hover over the items. You can change those. I'm going to change the divider color to something a little more theme friendly, some kind of light blue. That's pretty nice. Nice and easy to do. The submenu arrow color, which is this one right here, I'm going to change that to the same blue that we have for the divider. I'm going to make it a little darker actually. Looks like it's grayed out. There we go. A little darker blue, just to fit our theme a little better. You can change the font size of the menu items. And even though it's great to be able to test these things on a screen like this, you should probably whip out your phone and just make sure that it actually works on your phone as well as on here. Because here we're using a mouse to click, on a phone you're using your fingers. So even though it may look the same, the experience will be a little different. And you might need to adjust things based on your experience on the phone versus what you're seeing on this preview right here. So now let's head back into the desktop version and then check out the pre-header. And the pre-header is a display area above the menu system. So if we add two columns, having a phone number up here is quite common for these kind of things. You can choose to have text or a menu up there. If you have one column, this is quite common where you call your visitors' attention to a sale you're having maybe, or some kind of event that's happening. You can put that information up there. You can easily turn it off whenever that event is complete, or that sale's over for that matter. Now that we're done with the header, let's check out the footer. Let's scroll to the very bottom. And we have our footer down below here. We see the copyright info and the powered by, which is all the information you see in here. Powered by the theme author, you can change this with a bit of custom code, or you could even just say powered by me and just not have custom code there. Just type in what you want. With the Pro add-ons, you have a lot more flexibility on changing this information without resorting to custom code. And like before, you can change to 1 column, 2 columns, no columns. You can have text or menus at the bottom. Change the footer width, change the height, background colors, accent colors, hover colors, font sizes, and more options with the premium add-on. Now we've made a lot of changes in the customizer so far, so we have to make sure to click publish to make sure changes are saved. Otherwise, all that work would be gone. And if you thought that was all this theme had to offer, you're wrong, because there's even more. If we close out of the customizer and we go to any one of our posts and we go to edit the post, on the right-hand side, we have this template settings box down at the bottom. As far as the layout goes for this post, we can have it inherit the global settings, which we set in the customizer, or we can have this post have its own contained or full width design by choosing the appropriate option as we need. And we're able to disable elements like the page title, featured image, header, and footer. Now, depending on whether or not you have a page builder on your site and whether or not you have the pro version or the free version, you may not be able to adjust these things using the page builder. And since this theme was designed with page builders in mind, it gives you those options. If you're working with the free version of a page builder, you're still able to manage things as though you had the pro version. So that's a nice feature. And now we're going to install the premium add-on for this theme to see even more features. If we go back to the Page Builder Framework website, go to My Account, Purchase History, log in, View Details and Downloads, click on this link right here to download it. Right here you see the license key, we have to copy that. And now we head back into the site, go to Plugins, Add New, Add Plugin. I'm going to drag and drop what we just downloaded right into there. Click on Install Now, then click on Activate Plugin. And now we have the Premium Add-ons plugin installed. Click here to activate the license key. Paste in the key that we just copied. Save changes. Then activate license. And now we're active. It's that easy. So now that we have this installed, we have a new theme settings option that takes us to the license area and also the template settings. And some of the settings in here are pretty awesome. For example, the full width and remove title ability that we saw just a moment ago on individual posts, we can now turn those on and off globally by using these options here. We can make our header transparent. We can have it on posts, pages, 404s, blog, search results, all archives, all post archives. You can now make a header transparent on individual pages. It's an option that was added with the Pro add-on. If we go to posts and all posts and edit any one of these, we'll see in the very bottom right, transparent header. Check that box, header is transparent on this page. Blog layouts are pretty cool. You can adjust the layouts of archive pages like we were doing earlier in this video, but you can adjust them specifically for different archive types. The blog page, the results, search results page, categories, tags, author archives, date archives, and if you have custom post types on your site, you can change the look of those specifically just by checking this box. If you check this box, options are added into the customizer that you can then edit. So I'm going to check blog page and search results, just so we have something to look at in just a minute in the customizer. Under performance settings, a lot of these options help with site speed. This theme is designed to be fast, and the Pro add-on makes it even faster by allowing you to turn these on and off as needed. On most sites, you can turn most of these on without losing any functionality. When you do turn these on and off, make sure your site still works as you expect, but it should not be an issue for anything besides possibly jQuery migrate, possibly your RSS feed. All the others shouldn't have many problems at all. Well, the emojis would if you use a lot of emojis, but all the rest shouldn't affect anything. We can change the responsive breakpoints if we want them. They're usually at a pretty good spot as they are, but if you need to change them for whatever reason, these widths are when the website decides that you are using a tablet or mobile device or a desktop. So you can change when that switch happens. For example, you have your main navigation that turns into a hamburger menu. That will happen at the responsive breakpoint, and you can change that breakpoint here. You can white label the theme as needed, white label the Pro add-on plugin, and make it look like, if you're doing client work, make it look like you created it if you want to. You're able to do that with the Pro add-on. The Pro add-on added custom sections. We're not going to get too much into these, but these allow you to build custom content for your site and then define, based on rules down below, where these appear. pretty powerful stuff. Let's go back into the customizer. First, let's check out typography. As we saw earlier, we get more options when we do premium. We now have the Typekit option added, custom fonts added. Inside any of these, we now have more options for defining the sizes on different device sizes. And the Typekit allows you Typekit fonts, not just Google fonts. And the custom fonts you can enable here. And you can choose all kinds of custom fonts. You can upload files. You can download these files from fontawesome.com, or I think Font Squirrel is another one. There's a whole bunch of sites that have custom fonts that you can download. There's premium ones that you can pay for. There's also free ones. You can upload them to the site here through these options and have completely custom fonts that nobody else has, or somebody would, but not anybody using the easy stuff like Google Fonts or Typekit for that matter. If we head into the header, let's go back to the navigation. We see some more options here. Sticky nav is new. Navigation hover effects. Call to action is new. Transparent header is new. Let's go to navigation. Let's just switch our layout to mobile and then head into the mobile menu, mobile navigation, because there is a cool new option added by the Pro add-on. If we change the menu from hamburger to off canvas, we have the menu come from off canvas when we click on the hamburger icon. So we see it slide in from the side of the website. Just to compare that to what we had before, where the menu slide down from the top, moves all the content down. Off canvas, slides in from the side. Really cool effect. We also have the option for a custom menu for people who like to get really detailed in how they like to customize their sites. The custom menu is defined inside of the navigation. We have a custom menu box added down here now. So we could use another plugin maybe to create some kind of mega menu that you could customize to work on a mobile phone if you wanted, and insert the shortcode here, and boom, you have a custom menu. Now let's head back out here and switch to desktop, and then go into the sticky navigation. Who doesn't like a good sticky navigation menu? Turn it on by clicking on the switcher here. You can change the logo. Sometimes you'll see sites with a sticky menu when it appears it's a different color than the main menu. So for example, our main menu now is white with a dark logo, which makes sense. But if we scroll down, the menu that pops up here, the sticky menu could be dark, could be black maybe. So then a light colored logo will make more sense. So you can change the logo based on what color you set the sticky menu to. You can change the background color right here. So we could change this to white, for example, have it just like our main one. You'll notice it doesn't appear immediately. That's because down here we have 300 pixels that we have to scroll before it appears. You can change this to 0. Put 0 pixels in there and it comes with you immediately. That might be how you want it, but if you have it so you have the delay, let's just delete this so it's 300, we can add cool little animations. So if we wanted to have a slide down animation, now if we come down here, we watch closely, the menu slides down. You can increase this slider. This is a millisecond, so it takes 1 second for it to slide down now. So now if we slide or scroll down, we see it sliding down quite slowly. We can change the menu height. We can add a box shadow, so it looks like it's hovering over top of the content, which you can see here now, that slight gray line there, that's a box shadow. I think that looks quite nice, and you can adjust it based on device type. Tablets, follows you down the page. Mobile, follows you down the page. Very nice little sticky menu. Now let's go back to desktop, and let's take a look at the couple other options we have for the navigation. We have navigation hover effects. We can choose any one of these hovers. Let's give it a color of purple so it really stands out. So if we hover over the menu items, we have the modern effect, which looks like that. We have the box. We can choose a different animation for the box. It's a cool effect. Underline. So you can easily add a hover effect to your menu. Under the transparent header, we spoke about this a little bit earlier, you can make the header transparent. So if we were scrolling down here, this header could be transparent. For the call to action button, the option of highlighting a button in the navigation menu. By default, if you turn this on, it just adds it to the very end. So here's your call to action button. Or you can add this class to the menu item, and that allows you to highlight which menu item you want. So you'd copy this class, you would uncheck this box. Let's just publish our changes. Let's head out to our site, dashboard, go to appearance and then menus, and let's highlight services. We don't have the class box here. Click on screen options, check CSS classes. Now we have the class field, paste in our class, save menu, head back into the customizer, and now we have services as our call to action. Where were we? Header and call to action button. And now we can customize the appearance using all these options here of this call to action button. The thing I want to show you is the new blog layout options that we activated earlier. If we head into blog and then blog archive layout, we have some more options added in here. We can disable the sidebar, so we're full width on the blog content. We can turn on the grid layout, and the grid layout option adds more options at the bottom. You can change the gap between the areas. You can turn on masonry effect, which right now all the heights for all these are the same. When you turn on masonry effect, it collapses the white space. So if you have a post with a very short description here, it'll be much smaller, and it kind of fits it together like rocks in a wall, which is, I guess, where it gets the name from, for masonry. And you can change the background colors, all kinds of other grid layout settings. For mobile devices, you can change how many appear across the page. For a tablet, 2 by default. For phones, 1. Desktop, 3. I think that makes sense, those numbers there. And then if we come back out here, we can change the post layout. Now if we go into any one of these posts, we have it in this order: title, metadata, featured image. You can drag and drop these to move them around. And we can easily and quickly change how our posts are displayed. And there's a whole lot more options the premium add-on gives you. I can't possibly go through all of them in this one video, but if you do want to know more about this premium add-on, leave a comment in the description down below and I'll look into making further videos for it. But if we head out to the main site and check out the pricing, it's actually quite reasonable for what you get. $58 right now, billed annually until canceled, or lifetime, $248. I do like the lifetime deals, especially for things that I use a lot and I know I'm going to use for a long time. So to get all those features that we saw, plus so many more features, it's pretty inexpensive. And if we scroll down this page, we see a listing of a lot of the features that you get. And if we head over to the showcase, we see sites that were built with the WP Page Builder framework, and they are quite nice sites. So just click on any one of these, you can check out the websites, and I highly recommend this Page Builder framework. I actually use it on my site, wplearninglab.com, and you should check it out because it's a really great, stable, fast theme. So that's just a sampling of the things you can do with the WP Page Builder framework theme. It's pretty awesome stuff. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do and ring the bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. And then click this video up here where I show you how to install and configure WP Rocket to make your sites even faster. And WP Rocket plus WP Page Builder framework equals super fast websites. And then check out this video down here. It's the one that YouTube thinks you should watch. And until next time, my name is Bjorn Allpass from WP Learning Lab. Keep crushing it, and I will see you in the next video.